They try to treat us real dummy-like. Fake news got the whole country like. How we letting politicians lie to us? While we letting corporations program us? How we eating food that can cause cancer? I'ma keep asking till I get some answers. I'm prepared for war, y'all can keep dancing. But if you feel the same, this should be your anthem. 40 acres in a mule, yeah, we need that. Reparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. Hustle hard, money stack. Uncle Sam want his tax, but I think he smoked crack, cause he never paid me back. But he built this off my back. I'm the reason he intact. 40 acres in a mule. Tell me what happened to that.
I understand that reparations are an absolute necessity. We're gonna get buried alive. We do not have enough to be able to compete in this society.
Black, labor, white, wealth, integration never helped. Jim Crow kept us held. Black people set up the fail. $100,000 checks, yeah, we need that. Black business only grants, yeah, we need that. Therapy from all this trauma, yeah, we need that. Justice system reform, yeah, we need that. They said we revolutionary, yeah, I be that. Fred Hampton told me that, I'll repeat that. The whole world waking up to the secrets. We the lost children of Egypt. 40 acres in a mule, yeah, we need that. Reparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. Yo, like how they gonna say it ain't racism when the actions all point towards racism. They use science to reinforce racism. Johann Blumenbach taught the world racism. The presidents believe, governors agree. For them to build wealth, we had to work for free. How you see another man as your property? A sin like that can't be easily forgotten. We tended your crops while in bondage. Our stock was the key to your wealth. Y'all gon' pay us for that. Red line on map, y'all gon' pay us for that. Burn down our cities, y'all gon' pay us for that. Medical apartheid, school to prison pipeline. Arrest our fathers and sharecrop my grandma. The list goes on, these are war crimes. So yo, cut that check, it be about time. 40 acres in the mule, yeah, we need that. Reparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. And for all the people acting like we begging or we just looking for a handout, I want y'all to remember this. 400 years of the most terroristic, horrific, sadistic treatment of a people on planet Earth. Human trafficking, rape, mutilization, hangings, whippings, maimings, and most importantly, forced labor that led to the growth and expansion of this country and corporation we call the United States of America. Never has there been justice and repair for these crimes against humanity and generational traumas. The Jewish, the Japanese, LGBTQ, Ukrainians, Afghanis, Dakas, Asians, and many other groups of people have received money and resources from the federal government for crimes against them. We need our justice too. Who else deserves it more? Who else needs it more? We found money during the pandemic, and we always seem to bail out the big corporations. It's time for y'all to pay us what you owe us. Cut the check. Cut the check.
The 5 pillars of reparations according to international law. 1, compensation. Repeat after me. Compensation. 2, restitution. 3, rehabilitation. 4, satisfaction. And 5, guarantee of non-repetition. Clap it up for yourselves.
All right. Peace and love, family. Peace and love to everyone under the sound of my voice. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Maat. Before I bring on my sister And it was crazy. We go way back. And look, she was interacting with me on IG, and I didn't even realize that it was her. And she explained to me backstage that she had rebranded. But this is my sister, and we go back like 9 years, maybe 7 to 9 years. I know we go back almost a damn decade. All right. So I'm bringing on this queen, powerful queen that I had the honor of meeting some years ago, who's doing great work in the community, family. We're going to build today. You see the title is The Year of Return in African Countries a Scam, right? Because now we starting to see a whole lot of it. And I support it, actually, right? You know what I mean? I do. But it's always a but. But before we get into that, family, take a moment out to thumb up this discussion. You know the way the YouTube algorithms works, the more you engage the video, the more it circulates. So thumb up the video right now, family. Also share this video if you're on Facebook. Post a link if you're on Twitter. Tweet the link if you're on another social media platform, right? Make sure that you get it out there, because this is a nice topic, man. We're going to go all the way in. And the sister asked me, she said, well, how raw can I be? I said, sister, say whatever you want to say. Say what's on your mind. We're just going to keep the language, down, because we don't want the video to get flagged. But we're going to be spitting the truth, man, unapologetic in our positions. All right. And so I see the Maadian family is in the building. What up to New Black World Order? I know this brother's going to get me. I had a book for him. Look, brother, let me show you. Your book is sitting right there, okay? Your Booker T. Washington book that's autographed by Dr. Wright is sitting right there. I just have to get it out. I have to get to the post office and send it out to you, brother. And so my apologies. I'm going to send it out. I have 3 copies, 2 copies that I'm going to give away. All right. And so peace to New Black World Order. He says, welcome, family. Share, like, subscribe. He said, glad you're here for the information. Let me see who else is in the building. I see brother Harry Morgan's in the building. What up to you, brother Harry? I see Kamasi. Is that Kamisi? Kamisi Fox is in the building. Priest of Farouk, salam, peace. I see brother Joel Armstrong is in the building. I see Queen T is in the building. She said from New Orleans, B1 to your Queen T. Queen T, I actually thought you were one of my BFF. Her name is Queen T. So when I saw you in the chat, I thought this was her. And then until I saw New Orleans, but B1 Black first to you too. So Vaughn says the year of return is about resources. Non-Black countries have been allowed to drain Africa dry, by corrupt leaders. Now, Black Americans are needed to pump money back into African economies. Ooh, all perspectives are welcome. New Black World Order. All right, I shouted you out. E5 Twins is in the building. They say a Bibi Fahodie, Oluwo, an African family. Ashe. And who else is in the building? Someone else said, now this say Euro Neanderthal. Now, if you're a troll, get the F on. Nobody got time for this. They say, I'm looking at you, suburbanite, lice infested Euro Neanderthal. Like, come on now. If you're a brother or sister, it's all well and good. But with this handle, it makes me feel like you're trolling. But it says right here, it's a scam. And most continental African Black people see Black American descendants of American chattel slavery as through all of us are brimming with money. And I hope that this isn't a troll, but I do agree partially with your statement. I wouldn't say most, I wouldn't. What I don't like to do, family, and I guess this is the engineer in me, I don't like to use strong quantitative words like always or never or most without having the data to substantiate that. So will I say that there are some that just see us as a money bag or money grab? Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I went over there firsthand. I saw this with my own eyes. I experienced this. You forgot I've been to 3 countries. I mean, I know Africa has 54 of them, but I've been to like 3 of them, and I plan on going to maybe 2 or 3 more this year. And I can tell you personally that, yeah, I mean, especially when I was in Ghana one time, my son didn't even want to get off the bus in Kumasi because he was bombarded with so many people trying to sell us stuff. And then if you didn't get anything, they caught an attitude with you. So, I actually agree with you. Partially. All right. And I see Big Nick Tech said most African countries that are run by Black Africans are in debt. True, to Western countries and China. Facts. Also, many African countries have been conditioned to view African descendants in the West negatively. They have. And you know what? And I appreciate those brothers and sisters who admit it. You get what I'm saying? I I I appreciate the brothers and sisters who say, yeah, the way they promote you all over here, it leaves a bad taste in our mouth. Like some brothers and sisters will sit down and they'll tell you what's up. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, family, make sure that you're in the building for this event on Mother's Day. MOM, missing our moms. So missing our moms, our grandmothers, our aunts, anybody who's been a mother figure to you. Make sure that you come on out to the Mother's Day lunch on May the 14th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Location, St. Matthew's Church, 5401 Lock Raven Boulevard, Baltimore, Maryland, 21239. For more information, make sure that you email NSA, so NSAA Creations at gmail.com. Okay, and get your tickets now. It's going to be a beautiful brunch. We're going to create this huge or this massive ancestral shrine. Okay, just celebrating all mothers. So bring your mother's picture, right, to put on the shrine. Bring her favorite candy, her favorite beverage, and I don't care what it is. If your mother drink whiskey, don't feel ashamed to bring a bottle of whiskey. Whatever your mom liked to drink, whatever she liked to eat, her favorite flower, her favorite plant, whatever it is. Even if you want to bring a piece of her clothing, bring it, because we're going to create this massive shrine for our mothers. We're going to pour libations. We're going to call the names of our mothers, grandmothers, and aunties. We're going to break bread. We're going to dance. We're going to have a really, really good time celebrating mothers, right? Mothers, grandmothers, aunties, mother figures, right? Your sister may be a mother figure to you who may have passed, right? So just mother figures. So come on out. If your mom or your mother figures have transitioned, come on out and feel this energy I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of feminine and maternal energy in the building that day, family. And this is just not for females. This is for males too. So come and get that energy. You get what I'm saying? That you may be missing or lacking in your life since the transition of your loved one. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my sister, a queen. What's going on, Sister Kia? How are you? You got to unmute yourself, Queen.
I'm sorry. I'm good. And yourself?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I can't complain watching you blow up all over social media. I sat back watching all of you, the trips that you did in Kemet, and you was taking brothers and sisters. Did you also go to South Africa? Because why do I have South Africa in my brain?
I've been to South Africa. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I have South Africa in my mind, but I know that you were doing a lot in Kemet. You all were taking food over. I mean, you were doing so much in Kemet, and I'll let you talk about yourself. But I've been watching you for a while, on social media, and I want to say to you that I'm proud of you, sister. I remember when you were talking about doing this years ago, and then you actually did it. Like, so you were talking about it, like, yeah, we're going to do, because y'all were just kind of going back and forth, and then you made it a thing where you were going back and forth. You all were connecting with schools. You were taking resources over there, and then you started taking people over there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of evolved. Yeah. And so, this is shoot. Family, we go back to Tea Talk with the Sisters. I don't know how many of you have watched that on my channel. There's a playlist called Tea Talk with the Sisters, where we used to get together around midday, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and we would go live, and we would talk about issues that were specific to women and Black people, but we kind of focused on females, Black women, and we had a really good time. And then I know his sisters got busy, and I think we did maybe 10 or 12 episodes, and then people started doing their thing. But when you started doing your thing, I want you to talk about that. Talk about the origins of your company and what you were able to accomplish in this amount of time.
Yes, thank you so much. And you're right. We go way back. And I was talking about those things on the platform at that time. Yeah. And what essentially happened was, I got to the point where, I'm doing all of this traveling around the world, and I'm doing a lot of travel within the continent, and I'm seeing a lot of things that we aren't necessarily capturing in books or documentary, right? Some things you just can't get in a book or documentary. You have to travel. And so for me, it was like, let me bring my people on board, people who look like me on board and whomever else. It's not exclusive, but the primary focus is us to show us through travel the contributions of African people or African descendants of what we've done globally.
Come on.
Not just limited to the continent, and my company is not limited to the country. We show the contributions of African people around the world. So currently we are doing heavy business in Kenya. That is our international hub, where I do have a local company there, Traverse Culture Africa. And we're based out of Florida here in the United States, but we're also in Tanzania. But now we are also in Belize and Panama, where my company is the first company to curate with the government Afro tourism.
Love it.
So it doesn't stop there. And I'll just stop there so that I won't keep going on and on.
No, keep going on and on. Please do. I love. So your work in Kenya. Can you talk to us how that started? Because that's kind of that was the spark of everything, right?
Absolutely.
When you started going to Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And what was some of the work that you did when you were over in Kenya?
Yeah. So Kenya, me and Kenya, I love Kenya. And I always say this about Kenya, and I always like to keep it a buck. Kenya is the least Pan-African country in East Africa, the least. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. But what attracted me to Kenya, one, is the people. It's the people. And once I started going to Kenya 12 years ago, I've been going to Kenya for 12 years. I've started a couple companies in Kenya. So this is not the first business venture that I've started, but they didn't work out. But this one stuck. Why did it stick? Because of the passion, of course, that was driven behind it in terms of connecting the dots between quote unquote African Americans and continental Africans. I saw that there was no marketplace for East Africa. A lot of people were focusing on West Africa, right? We see a lot of what our sisters and brothers are doing in Ghana and Nigeria, Senegal, and Sierra Leone, but there's no concerted effort to really focus on East Africa. And I think people miss East Africa because they only connect West Africa with slavery. And that's another thing that I wanted to dispel through travel, is that African people were already on this land. We were already doing trade and commerce around the world prior to slavery. I am a descendant of Gullah Geechee.
Same here.
I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm
Sumter County, South Carolina.
Okay.
So
we are direct descendants.
That's right.
What makes it beautiful is a lot of people say the Gullah corridor mainly resides through slavery. That's not true. When you look at Gullah Geechee, and I did my Gullah Geechee tour in 2021, which was quite successful. We did Charleston, South Carolina, St. Helena, and Beaufort. Okay. What I learned with going back and forth to Kenya is that there is a group of tribes that called the Gula tribe. And Kiswahili, Gullah Geechee really derives from Kiswahili. What does that mean? There were already people from East Africa on the continent, specifically in the South, before slavery. Before slavery. And so by cutting these dots through travel, you get to see things from a different perspective, and it broadens that limited viewpoint you may have from, again, reading a book, watching documentaries, but interfacing with people who've actually lived through this, who actually have witnessed certain things in history. And then you get to put your boots on ground and taste the culture, speak the language, touch the people. And that right there is the most important thing for us to connect between ourselves and continental Africans and Africans of the diaspora around the world.
Absolutely. So when you were in Kenya, I just want to go back to the work that you were doing. So I know you all were doing some work with some schools. Weren't you all doing some farming out there? Could you expound on some of that work?
Yes, you're right. Actually, when myself and Riziki, shout out to Riziki Zafira, that's our other sister who used to do Tea Talk with us. Her and I went out to Kenya 2011, and our first initial idea was to start a business. And so we did start it off with humanitarian work with a orphanage out in South Mombasa. And as we progressed, there were some different things that we were aligning ourselves with in terms of the orphanage school, different nonprofit organizations that we initially just start giving back to. And then as I continued on this mission through Kenya, it morphed into an actual company. And now through my company, I'm not just a travel concierge firm, but we also offer humanitarian business investment opportunities and relocation assistance. And I want to put out there right now that we relocated our first family from Tennessee last year to Kenya.
Wow. Yes. So you offer services for for people who are interested in repatriation as well.
And I don't like to use that word, but yes.
Well, we got people who just want to go home. People say they want to go back to the continent. They want to return back to the continent.
Sure. And we have an integrative program. So for those who want to relocate into a society that already exists through an integrative system.
I'm with you, sis. You like I'm choosing my words carefully.
Okay.
I'm with you, sis. I'm with you. So I love what you're doing. And you had reached out and you said your company is the first company who actually has partnered with Kenya for the year of return. And so my question is this their first one that's coming up in July?
This is correct. This is the private sector's initiative to do the year of return. Now, what I did not know, and we just recently found out, is that the African Union has put out a mandate that all 54 African countries have a year return to invite the African diaspora by 2030.
They have it. So repeat that to me one more time.
So the African Union, which is based out of Ethiopia, put out a mandate, and we just learned this. Shout out to my team, Domi. I see you. We just learned this, that they put out a mandate that all 54 African countries must have a year return inviting the African diaspora by 2030. And what I believe is that the private sector who initiated this year return in Kenya is trying to meet this mandate. This year return. Yes.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. And your company, tell me how your company is involved in this.
Yes. So they reached out to us. We just had returned from Kenya, bringing 40 quote unquote African Americans to Kenya in December, from November to December. And they found us on the internet. At the moment, I was affiliated with the company that I owned before, Worldviews. And they found when they looked up the year of return, my company, or the year of return Kenya, my company is the only company that came up, and an interview came up that we just did this past December. And so they reached out to us because they know that this is what we do 365 days in terms of helping or assistance or doing our tours back and forth to the continent. And so they reached out to us to do the logistics for the year of return. And so that's how we connected with them.
Beautiful. So you're handling the logistics for the year of return in Kenya. And so people can come right to your company and say, hey, look, I'm interested in going. What are the dates again? I know it's July.
Yeah, so it's July the 3rd through the 4th, but we do have our package for the day before.
The 3rd through the 4th.
Oh, I said the 3rd through the 4th. Excuse me, the 4th through the 7th.
I was like, the 3rd and the 4th. Oh my goodness, it's only 2 days. So it's the 4th through the 7th. Okay. All right. So you have a package for people who want to come in on the 3rd and stay the 3rd through the 7th. Okay, beautiful.
So the 3rd through the 8th. And what comprises in that package? You can go straight to our website. And I'll put it in the comment section. But you have the 3rd through the 8th. We provide airport to airport drop off. We provide hotel accommodation, transportation. We also will have an African ball, which we are responsible for. So red carpet events. And then we'll do a naming ceremony in Machakos County with the tribe out there. The way that we do it, Traverse signature naming ceremony as well.
Okay. And so question, what so I know a lot of us, when we return back to the continent, we want to go and see the dungeons and certain places like that. Is that available in Kenya? I'm just curious. Like, I know that.
Is that? That is available, but I want to say, in terms of what we provide, that's not what we focus on.
Okay, that's not what you focus on. Okay.
We make a concerted effort to try to stay away from that. Now,
well, a lot of people are doing it, so you don't need to,
Okay.
like you saying you have your lane. And so I was just wondering, is
Mhm.
there like, does your company offer like an itinerary?
Yes.
So outside of, okay, cool. So so
Absolutely.
you have a day, something's going on every day.
Every day. Now, what my biggest complaint is that I run you raggedy. By the time I'm finished with you, you'll be tired and you got all the information you need. So what is included in our tours, we also include, which is an incentive for everyone that's watching, is we include a business conference, because we do offer investment opportunities such as real estate, commercial, residential, and manufacturing. We have a business conference day where we also do our signature marketplace, where we bring vendors, local vendors, specifically from Kibera. We support that community, highly support that community, but it's the largest urban slum in all of Africa. But we get those vendors from there. We set it up so that our guests do not have to go and get hackled when they go to the marketplaces in Nairobi.
Come on.
Right? And we make it comfortable. We pride ourselves on giving hassle-free experiences, and we want our customers or our clients to feel like they're at home and they're part of the family. So that's one of the things we do. And then also, we already build in that humanitarian portion. So we do go into Kibera twice for the naming ceremony and for the humanitarian day to work with the orphanage or the school that we support heavily out of Kibera. And then in terms of, because East Africa did not have a heavy influence in the Western slave trade, they did more of Arab slave trade, and it went through Tanzania. There's not a lot of places where they're talking about slavery, but we get to see the cradle of life. We get to see where man
Come on. At the museum. So you do take them to the museum?
We do go to National Museum. We're in there for 4 hours because there's so many questions.
I would be there all day. You all would just have to drop me off. Just drop me off in the museum. Just drop me off. You get what I'm saying? Because like you said, this is the cradle of humanity. Kenya is where they found the oldest stone tools, dating back 3.5 million years ago. So that shows that shows people that we are the pioneers of STEM. And I keep telling people, we are, girl, you get me started. Hold on. Let me pull up we are the pioneers of STEM, science, technology, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art. I always say art and agriculture is a double A for me, and mathematics. And so when you said the cradle of humanity, oh my gosh, I should have hit the bomb button for you. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like literally, that's where you are. In East, right over there in East Africa, the East African Rift, and a lot of those. Valley. Come on.
We take you to the Rift Valley too, by the way.
I will fall out. I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm telling you, I would lose my mind. So I definitely got to get over there with you. You know what I mean? To go, I can't travel to Kenya and not go through you. So
you better not, or we gonna have a problem.
So I gotta get my little self together. I gotta get myself together. I'm looking for here it is. Where it is, Black History. And this is what she's talking about, family.
Okay.
I just want to show them. I want to give them a visual, because you kind of hit them. You're like, I'm taking you back to the cradle of humanity. Real talk. When you talk about the oldest bones and the different,
and it's in their museum.
I heard. Family, this is what she's talking about right here. Let me pull it up for you. All right. So when you talk about the fossils, first of all, we know that the oldest fossils are found in Africa.
Yes.
I know we got a lot of pretendians on the internet now. And so we have a lot of the pretendians, and you might have some pretendians in the building. But the reality is the oldest fossils are in Africa. And these fossils corroborate that all stages of human development occurred in Africa. Mm-hmm. Look over here at how many fossils that they found. Remember the Leakley family, they did a whole lot of stuff in Kenya, uncovering bones. As a matter of fact, they uncovered Lucy. Was it Lucy? Right? They uncovered Lucy.
Yes.
And Lucy is, no, I think they sent her bones to the Museum of Anthropology.
I think
it was Ethiopia.
Yeah.
No, they have her bones in the Museum of Anthropology in Mexico.
Okay.
They sent her bone fragments there. I believe it was Lucy. I gotta go back and look because I had just went. And so anyway, family, what she's talking about is, hold on. When you talk about, I'm looking for the stone tools. This is a video that talked about the stone tools that they found dating 3.5 million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the museum in Kenya. So again, sis, I'm telling you right now, I will lose my mind on your tour. Just drop me off. And you say you take them to the African Rift.
No, you said it right. You said us. Go ahead. Say that again.
Okay, you take us to the African Rift. You said the African. I always say the African Rift Valley. But what did you call it? You said the
Rift Valley.
No, what did I call it before? I think you said Rift Valley, and I called it something else.
I don't know. I didn't catch it. I'm sorry.
All right, but you take them there. And so what happens there? You just take them to show. Is it a play? Is you talking about where the rivers are? Or
I wish I got a video of it when I just took them, and I'll share with you later if you want to share it on Instagram or whatever. So the Rift Valley where we stop at, and I think one of my team members from Kenya, shout out Domi, he's in the chat group. This is one of my team members to work for my local company there in Kenya right now. Mm-hmm. We stop at the Rift Valley where there's a huge sign that says the Rift Valley, and then it shows you like exactly where you at. And then there's actual local tour guides out there that explain what you're looking at. But it's land, I mean, miles and miles of land mass and mountains. And you get chills. Chills when you're standing there. Because that is specifically the cradle of life and where we kind of migrated out and moved around the continent.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so let's kind of shift gears a little bit, because I asked the question, is the year of return in African countries a scam? I asked that because what a lot of diasporan Africans are saying, and what we're getting tired of, is getting haggled when we come to the continent. Right. And so they look at us and they think because somebody may be from the UK, somebody may be from Europe, somebody may be from the Americas, or Canada. They think that, they got it easy over there, or they're looking at TV and they think all of us are living like Beyonce and Jay-Z, which is not the truth, And so when we get over to the continent, you get haggled. And so people are really questioning the sincerity of the people, right? Because they're like, damn, I'm your brother or your sister. I'm trying to come over. I want to connect with you. Yes. But then you're looking at me as a bag. You know what I mean? Not as your brother and sister coming over and when you reconnecting, you're looking at me as a money grab. Yep. And so, now they're doing these year returns. So you got Ghana. I know Ghana does it. And shout out to Professor James Small. I know that he goes over almost every year. I think they do it in August. I want to say around July, August, they do it there, and they spend a night like in one of the dungeons. They do all kinds of stuff. They have ancestor veneration ceremonies. They do all kinds of stuff. It's a really big thing in Ghana. And I might have butchered it, family. I know it's during like the spring, summer. So it could be August, could be May. I don't know. But I know around between May and August, they have this year return in Ghana. Like you said, they doing it in Cameroon. Shout out to Prince Delior. They of the Bamaliki people, but he told me that they're doing it in Cameroon. Then you hit me, you said they're doing it in Kenya. So I'm wondering, is it, as the brother said in the chat, is it to drive, money or, resources to Africa? And if it is, that's fine, right? But my whole thing is, where's the reciprocity, right? So we come over, we reconnect. We're spending our US dollars, right, to come over. We want to connect with our brothers and sisters. We're spending money in their economy. We're buying masks. We're buying mud cloth. I know that I did. I'm buying jewelry, beads, and all sorts of stuff. I'm coming over there. I'm paying a fee, because don't forget, right now, if you go online and you Google flights and you get a flight to Ghana, not only are you paying money to the US, you also paying like a tax or something over there, because I remember the tickets went from like $600 or $700 all the way up to $1,000. So they're getting money out of us. So what are we getting? Are we getting dual citizenship? Are we getting access to land where we can build, land and opportunity? Like, so that's why I asked, is it a scam? Because is it non-reciprocal? You know what I mean? Is it non-reciprocal in a sense that we're not getting anything out of it? We're not getting anything out of it. I'm gonna feel like it's a scam. I mean, I got to get something out of it, right? And so, other than the connection, like a lot of Black Americans are saying, like, I need more than just coming over, connecting, and having a good experience. So what is your thought on that whole piece? Why do you think that African countries are doing this? So you said it was a mandate that went out that said by 2030, all 54 countries have to have a year return, right? What is the objective? Is it economics? Is it politics? Is it social? Is it cultural? Is it all four? You know, are we entering, if we do start going, are we entering into a non-reciprocal relationship with our brothers and sisters on the continent? What are your thoughts, Sister Kia?
All right, so that's a great question. It's crazy because we were talking about this in-house and with my company in-house in terms of the year return that we are part of right now. So we are the only African-American, so-called African-American. I use that for conversation purposes, but you guys understand what I mean.
I got you.
Representatives Committee for the year return for Kenya. Now, let me first say, and I'm going to answer, but I must start with this. This is why I do not subscribe to repatriation. I know that there's going to be people in the comment section try to kill me, but I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
It's very dangerous when we speak of repatriation. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because we do understand that we're about 500 years plus removed from the continent. Yes, we have about 54 countries on the continent. And so now you're saying repatriate to where? That's the first question. Where are you going to do it? So then you identify where you want to repatriate. What are you repatriating to? Do you know the culture? Do you know the people? Do they know you? That is the problem that we have not addressed in terms of all of these years of returns for these countries. This is what I'm bringing to the Committee for the Year Return Kenya.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
My biggest thing is we are integrating into a society that already exists. What we do not want to do is repeat another Liberia.
Come on.
Okay?
Come
and if
on.
you don't know about Liberia, go look it up, 1821. Listen to the date, 1821. This is during slavery. We had freed blacks go over to Liberia with the mindset of repatriating to a country, to a land they had no idea who the people were. They did not respect their culture. And essentially, they pretty much went and enslaved the local people. The only country in Africa that African Americans colonized, and that's on the books. So I say that, yes, Africa is doing this from an economical point of view. Yes, they are. It's about money.
It's about the money.
It's money. What makes it beautiful for us and interesting for us is that we have a place to shift that. It is our responsibility to shift the mindsets of our brothers and sisters, our continental Africans, to understand what our true intentions are. But those uncomfortable conversations need to be had.
They do.
And repatriation negates every conversation you have to even get to that.
Yeah.
So to your question, yes, it is about economy. Yes, it is a one-sided relationship. But I believe because companies like myself and yourself, the work that you're doing, we can change the direction of where it's going through us being a part of the process and exchanging that wealth of knowledge and information so they truly understand how we can really make this sustainable for both parties.
No, absolutely. And Kemet you, she didn't mean enslaved. I know Kemet you sent it. I feel you, family, when you said this is, I wouldn't say false information. When she said enslaved, she didn't mean in the sense of chattel slavery. She wasn't thinking about that. And you can read more about the Liberian crisis in this book, Booker T. Washington in Africa, The Making of a Pan-Africanist. I believe that Dr. Tyreen Wright talks about that. We basically went over to Liberia acting white. We took our whiteness with us when we went to Liberia, and that is on the record. It is on record that we went over to Liberia. We thought that we were better than them. We thought we were beneath them, and we wanted to take over their shit. I mean, excuse the language, but that's what we went over there did. We went over there acting white. We treated them the way white folks treat us. So not enslaved in the sense that it was chattel slavery. They put them on sugar plantations or tobacco plantations or cotton plantations or rice plantations. She's not talking about that. No, she's not saying that they went over there and they inflicted the same atrocities as cutting off genitalia and cutting out stomachs and raping and killing. She's not saying that. She's saying we took our whiteness with us. We took our whiteness with us when we went to Liberia. We went over there acting white. And see, that's why, and this is shout out to Dr. Ronaldo Rashidi, peace be upon his soul. He had an interview. He did an interview, and I put the clip up a while ago. Dr. Ronaldo Rashidi was asked the question, if all white people died today or tomorrow, will white supremacy continue? Yep. And his answer was yes. His answer was yes. Because we are infected with white supremacy. We are infected with whiteness. So until we deal with that, we'll carry white supremacy wherever we go. We'll carry a white supremacist mindset wherever we go. Okay. And the Liberian crisis is a great example of that, showing that we took a white supremacist mentality right back to Africa. And that's what she's talking about. She's not saying enslaved in the meaning, so this is false information. No, I understood what the sister was saying, and that's not what she was saying. She's not saying enslaved. We went over there with whips and chains, and we put them on plantations. This sister's saying that we took a white supremacist mindset to Kenya. To Liberia. And that is on the records as she stated. So go ahead and continue, Sister Key. I just wanted to correct the narrative in the chat.
Thank you, sister. And you're right. That's what I meant. And people have to understand the meaning of enslave. So let's not be limited in our thought process in terms of definitions to words. So what I mean, it can mean mentally as well. Shout out to Raziki Zafira. What's up? I see you in there. Come
the warrior. You know the warrior. You know with the warrior.
Yeah, come on through. Hey, that's Sister Tough. That's Sister
powerful.
Okay.
Powerful.
All right. So, this is what we don't want to happen in terms of using those terminology, repatriation, because we have to understand that we are distinctively different. Yes, we are part of the African diaspora, but we have our own culture and we are our own tribe of people. Let's be aware of that. And many may agree or not agree with me, but I've learned that through the process of traveling the world. As it stands, I've been to 44 countries and I've lived in 6 of them, and I've been to 7 African countries. And when I say that we're not a monolithic people and we're global, and that our influences or our contributions are not limited to the continent, I mean that. And I'm able to show that through travel. And not only through travel, but the education that we provide. And I need our people to understand that this is not inclusive, and we don't have an isolated situation. There are shared experiences through culture that you can find in any country around this world.
Teach. And you know what? When you're talking, I'm sitting over here thinking about Ronaldo Rashidi. You hear what you're saying? Like you were saying that he's an ancestor now, but what did you say? You said, I'm showing people, you talked about the global presence. You talk about the shared experiences, the similarities of culture. This is what Dr. Ronaldo Rashidi was doing. You're carrying the torch. That's what you're doing.
This gave me chills because you're right.
This is what he was doing. And you're carrying the torch for him. And it was crazy because I brought him up and then I just listened to what you said. I said, this is carrying a torch for Dr. Ronaldo Rashidi. That's what you all are doing, you and your team. And shout out to her team. And shout out to my girl, Sister Raziki. She don't play with me. If I go on, I started going, when them folks was attacking me. Oh, you talking about Sister Raziki. She don't play. She'll be right in the chat like, what? Battling. And so that is my sister. And so shout out to her. But let me tell you who supports you on your position. Okay. And this is what I wanted to share. Booker T. Washington. Family, make sure that you go to Booker T. Washington in Africa, .com to get this book by Dr. Tareen Wright. In her book on page 62, she talks about Booker T. Washington's position on repatriation, whether we should go back, right? Go back home, go back to Africa. And so she talked about that on page 62. And it says right here, his commentary on Africa was not limited to the disturbance of the continent and its people by European imperialists. The social, political, and economic conditions in the U.S. at the time forced Washington to explore a return to Africa by African, and in parentheses, she says American, population. In his published letter to the editor of the Washington Colored American, he examined the pros and cons of the Back to Africa movement. Prior to Marcus Garvey, Bishop Henry McNeill Turner, Alexander Crummell, Edward Biden, either promoted or returned to Africa. And although a return to Africa was not a personal consideration for Washington, he re-examined it for the masses of African people within the United States. In 1899, while in London, he wrote to the editor of the Washington Colored American and laid out why a return to Africa was simply not plausible if the desire was to improve the condition of African people. He began by recalling his careful consideration of a mass return to Africa and how he felt about the promoters of the movement. Now, these are his words. I have always had the highest respect for those of our race who, in trying to find a solution for our Southern problem, advised the return of the race in large measures to Africa. So he said, I respect those folks, right? He said, he explained that due to his respect for people like Bishop Turner and others, the conditions in the U.S., he had to consider a return and therefore made a careful, unbiased study of the question. A primary concern for Washington in light of repatriation to Africa was the possibility of self-development and self-government. A life in Africa under colonial domination was not a possibility, he concluded. I want to say that again. A life in Africa under colonial domination was not a possibility, he concluded. The African person's reality under imperial domination in Africa was just as bad, if not worse, than conditions in the U.S. In quote, he says this, I am free to say that I see no way out of our present condition in the South by returning to Africa. Aside from other almost insurmountable obstacles, there is no place in Africa for us to go where our condition will be improved. That's what Booker T. Washington said. Okay? This is what Dr. Booker T. Washington has said. Okay? And like I said, you can get this book. I quote from it a whole lot. Shout out to Dr. Toreen Wright. But there were brothers and sisters, despite that, who did repatriate back to Africa. Matter of fact, there was a racist society. Oh, did I say racist society? I didn't mean to say racist society. Did I say racist society?
You did. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to say racist society. There was a society, right? It was a society called the American Colonization Society, and they were sending free blacks back to Africa, and these were white folks now who funded, who founded this, and they were sending black folks back, to Africa. So it says right here, guys, and I won't read this whole page, but it says the roots of colonization, the colonization movement date back to various plans first proposed in the 18th century. From the start, colonization of free blacks in Africa was an issue on which both whites and blacks were divided. Some blacks supported immigration because they thought that black Americans would never receive justice in the United States. Others believe African Americans should remain in the United States to fight against slavery and for full legal rights as American citizens. Some whites saw colonization as a way of ridding the nation of blacks, right? So it says right here, while others believed black Americans would be happier in Africa where they could live free of racial discrimination. Still, others believe black American colonists could play a central role in Christianizing and civilizing Africa. That's why I said these things. These people were racist. So it says the American Colonization Society was formed in 1817 to send free African Americans to Africa as an alternative to emancipation in the United States. In 1822, the society established on the west coast of Africa a colony that in 1847 became the independent nation of Liberia. Isn't that what you talked about, Queen?
Yes.
So it says in 1867, the society has sent more than 13,000 immigrants. So family, I'm going to copy this and throw this in the chat for you all to check it out. And there were letters also, and I'm not going to read all the letters. There were letters, family, that our people were sending to the American Colonization Society, and shout out to Dr. Wright. She was just having this conversation with me on the telephone.
Wow.
All right. These were letters that people wrote. And it brought me to my, I cried looking at, reading some of these letters. Look at this brother right here, Lamont of Illinois Territory in 1818. He said, I'm a free man of color, have a family and a large connection of free people in color, free people of color residing on the Wabash, who are all willing to leave America whenever the way shall be open. We love this country and its liberties if we could share an equal right in them, but our freedom is partial. We have to hope that it will ever be otherwise here. Therefore, we had rather be gone, though we should suffer hunger and nakedness for years. So our ancestors was like, the hell with this. Let's just get out of here. He said, Your Honor, he says, may be assured that nothing shall be lacking on our part in complying with whatever provisions shall be made by the United States. So he's saying, send me back. You get what I'm saying? Because of the conditions that were happening over here. There was another letter I read of a South Carolina brother or sister. Hold on. And that was sad too. I think this was it. That respectable people. Okay, I think this was it right here, 1839. It says, respected sir, I claim the privilege of a South Carolinian to address you and to beg you, sir, that you will interest yourself in behalf of many respectable colored people, natives of South Carolina, who are digging out of the miserable existence in the northern cities. Because you know how people would flood into the north. They said it was miserable. It says very few of these are comfortable, right? And most of them are anxious to return home, sweet home, to our dear Carolina, but are presented by the enactment of law. So this brother or sister is saying, like, man, we fled from the South, we went north. It's miserable up here. Just send us back to Africa. So, family, I'm gonna drop this link in the chat so you all can read it at your own leisure. So it's crazy, Queen, that we're still having these discussions. And so Booker T. Washington was having this. He was saying this stuff in the late 1800s. You're reading letters from the early 1800s. We're still having this conversation about, should we go? Should we stay? Should we stay and fight? Should we just go? And so it's crazy. It's like I was telling one of the elders, shout out to Dr. Raymond Wimbush. I said, damn, elder. I said, I feel like I'm on a damn hamster wheel. Like we just keep. It's this, the more I told him, the more and more I study history, the more and more I feel like I'm just on a hamster wheel.
Yes.
The kid, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, yeah. So I just wanted to share with the folks, repatriation and your thoughts, how your thoughts align completely with what Dr. Booker T. Washington said, you know. And so, and then some people did go, despite his assessment, some people still went. Let me move forward with this because I know I only have you for another 5 to 7 minutes. What are your thoughts about when people say things like African people don't see us the way we see them? Like we look at them and we see our brothers and sisters, but they don't see us the same. And they talking about this a whole lot on the internet right now. What are your thoughts when you hear that?
At first, I used to say, no, they don't, and that was from my personal experience because I built relationships. But if we're talking about across the board in terms of creating relationships in commerce and trade, and even just having those conversations about who we are and our contributions and how we have influenced Africa as well as the African diaspora out of America. I don't think they quite understand that. In fact, I know they don't, because every time I go into board meetings, I'm still having to explain who I am and why I consider myself of the African diaspora. When I asked them to identify me, when you put me on your news station, again, so that I can be separated from just being an American, please call me African American or let them know that I am of the African diaspora. They then ask me, are you Kenyan? And I'm like, yeah, no, my DNA does show that I am, right? But that's, again, hundreds of years ago, that we had to trace it, right? And so again, there needs to be, I believe, and I use this again for conversation purposes and not from a religious point of view, but I believe that we are the chosen people, and it is our responsibility to educate our counterparts, our intentions, and why Pan-Africanism is a bilateral exchange of wealth and knowledge and in resources. So if I am going to integrate into your society, there must be a beneficial exchange from your end where you are investing in my communities as well.
It can't be one-sided.
It will not be one-sided.
It will not be one-sided, Ashe. And you said when you do these interviews, so let me ask you a question. How are you received after you make it known? Like, nah, when you put me on here, let it know that I'm of the diaspora, and that I'm not, I'm not a continental Africa. I'm a diasporan African. How does the audience, how do the people receive you?
Yeah, so they receive me well. I will say that I've never had any issues in Kenya. The other 6 countries, which is Senegal, Morocco, Mali, Togo, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. I've always had great experiences. Well, sort of. I want to share this. I have to say this, and if we have time, I really want to share this story, and Raziki know about it. I actually did business in Senegal. No shade to Senegal, no shade whatsoever. I respect my sisters and brothers out there, but I've done business in Senegal for the last 3 years, and because of some of the experiences I've had in business, the first time I ever said in a long time that I was happy to be American and happy to be back home was last year because of those experiences. And so when you ask, how do they welcome me when I am trying to explain that I am a part of the African diaspora, it does sound crazy. Because as I'm explaining, I'm listening to it too. Like, hold on. Okay, wait. Okay, let me explain. Okay, I was born in America. Okay, and then they asked, okay, what does your passport? I said, okay, I was born in Atlanta. But listen, my ancestry is, okay, well then how far back? Listen, we don't need to get into that. The point is that we have some type of connection. And so what I've learned through my travels through Africa is that the beauty is in the differences. The beauty is in us being distinctively different.
Come on.
That's the beauty. And so I don't waste my time trying to explain it. Call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm serving my purpose.
Hold on. I gotta drop a bomb for you.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Oh my God. Queen, tell the people where they can contact you. How can they reach you? Yes, powerful sister, isn't she? Where can they reach you?
Thank you. So y'all can reach me on my new website, tverze.com. That's TVERZE.com. You can also go follow me on Instagram. Y'all go check me out, and y'all can see my resume of all of the countries that I've been to and some of the experiences on Traverse Culture on Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But if you are trying to go on any of our tours right now this year, we have 3 tours to Kenya, one for Juneteenth. We are going to be celebrating Juneteenth in Kenya, okay? Wow. And we had the opportunity to do our naming ceremony with the Nubian tribe. These are the ancient people of Kush from South Sudan, right there in Kibera, Kenya. And we'll be celebrating Juneteenth. So that's June the 16th through the 26th. We'll also be there July for the year return. If you want to go to that, go to our page, tverze.com, July the 3rd through the 8th. And then we have some other packages attached to that. We are also going to celebrate the independence and carnival with Belize, where we are curating Afro tourism for the first time ever in Belize, and the Belizean people. Big up to Belize. And then we're going to Tanzania. We got a culinary exchange tour where we are connecting the dots on how the food with African Americans connect to East Africa. And one of the dishes that we will follow from Africa to the south is collard greens or skuma wiki that they call in East Africa. And then ending off the year, New Year celebration, bringing in the new year in the motherland, December the 22nd to January the 2nd, we're going to be partying all 12 days in Nairobi, Kenya, and Mombasa. So if you're interested, y'all come check us out.
And Queen, do me a favor. Could you put because someone is asking for the website again. Could you throw that in the chat? And I want to put that on the screen. Yeah.
So
if you
how
throw
do
it in the chat.
How do I do that?
Oh. Do you have the YouTube up right now and looking at people comments? Just
okay.
Like in the just comment with the with your website. You could put your website there in the chat, or you can also put it in our private chat. I don't know if you see a button on your side that says private chat.
And then you can copy it.
Yep, I could just copy and paste it.
All right, cool. And I want to say shout out to my son. He's watching. Shout out to Xavier Blanc. That's a smart young man.
He's getting old.
Yes, he's 17. He's 17, and he's half Haitian. So big up to our Haiti family. Our Haitian family as well. I put the
You put it in.
website.
Yeah, look, I had to say that because I feel like I watched him. He doesn't know me from a can of paint, but I feel like I watched him. You know how like when you're Facebook friends with people and you're online, it's like we literally, I don't think we understand that we're like watching each other's kids and stuff grow up.
You're not grown men.
Yeah, you remember when they was doing MELTREK and they was younger.
Yes.
Harvey has a full beard. They have full beards now. Like, and so you all saw when they were like 12, 13,
13,
and
14,
now it's look, and now it's 23 and 24.
What?
Taller than me.
Oh
hair everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's crazy. Like, and I remember you used to put pictures up of your son. And then I look up one day and I was like, oh my gosh, he's a teenager.
He's 17.
Man, I know. Now he's 17. It's like, man, I was like, he getting old. We ain't getting old here. He's getting old.
Right.
He's getting old. But family, go to her website. I'm going to drop it in the chat. I'm dropping it in the chat right now, family. I'm dropping it in the chat. I'm dropping it in the chat. And this is the actual website right here. All right. This is the actual website right here. All right. And Brother Onk, shout out to Brother Onk. I see Brother Onk is in the building. He would love what you say. When you talking about the African American and all of this stuff, Brother Onk, he would love what you say. Look, I'm proud of being an African American. I love our story. He was actually just talking to me about that. He was like, we have a rich story. He was like, and if you change any part of that, we're no longer an African American. We are a distinctive group of people, and we have a history that we should be proud of. So he would love that. But what I love about you, Sister Kid, is, and this is what he and I talk about all the time, I'm proud of being an African American, yes, but I didn't forget my roots either.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So I still connect with my brothers and sisters and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I understand who I am. And I understand that I can connect with my people wherever we are globally. I don't limit myself to just here. You get what I'm saying? Even though a large part of my work is here, my work starts here, but I branch out to other places and connect with folks. And so anyway, he would definitely love what you said. I don't know if he caught it. He did ask for the link, so I'm gonna drop the link in the chat to see what he want to come on here and say.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said he's asked for the link. Brother Onk, I just put the link in the chat while he's coming on.
Okay.
Family, make sure that here it is. Here's her website. Here's her website. I'm going to share my screen. Beautiful website. Beautiful website.
Thank you.
Here it is right here. Play CEO welcome message. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is the website. Look at this. Her package. Beautiful website. Look at this. Frequently asked questions. All right. So beautiful stuff, guys. So this is the website. Make sure that you go to her website. Make sure that you connect with her. Make sure that you connect with her. She's doing some marvelous things. All right. And I put the link in the chat. Beautiful website came here. I don't want to hear the link wasn't working because I clicked the link myself. Because some of y'all be lying. Y'all, they send me a DM. Yeah, I went to the website. It ain't working. The website is working.
That's true.
The website is working.
That's
all
true.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we got to do some work. I'm going to send you my website. I'm going to drop this link for you. I would love for you to be able to offer this,
Okay.
You know, in the different countries that you're in. We're trying to,
Okay.
you know, we're trying to make conscious ingenuity global.
Okay.
We're bringing it, you know, it's in Baltimore heavy.
Okay.
And we want to put it in Ghana. We're going to put it in Ghana.
Okay.
In fact, I'm working with 2 schools in Ghana now.
Okay.
And you know, someone in Sierra Leone wants to implement the program. And shoot, we could bring it to Kenya. And you know,
Yeah.
that's brother Onk spot, especially when you started talking about the Nairobi Museum. Oh my gosh, he would have went crazy listening to you talk. Oh, there he is. But I want to bring this. So let's see how we can collaborate.
Yeah. Is there an
and bring
affiliate? You do have an affiliate program where we can add that to our website?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll get it together. We can make it happen. We got it.
Okay, all right. She said we make it happen. So I think I put it in the back chat for you to grab.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Because we got to get our people involved in STEM. You know what I mean? We got to get them involved in STEAM. Got to get our people involved in STEAM. And so this is my program, Conscious Ingenuity. And I sent it to our elder, Baba Mwalimu Baruti, and he loved it. You know, when he looked at it, you know, he said, I could tell, you know, look at this. My students are in the lab. My students are out teaching in the community, and we pushing STEAM heavy. We pushing STEAM heavy. So this is something that, you know, we can collaborate, you know, on, and with your, you know, we can bring this, you know, come over there and do some work. You know, like this is your humanitarian piece, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So I did that. I done it with a program with a woman out of Florida where she brought the STEM. So we can definitely do that with the school that we support in Kibera. I already see it.
Let's do it.
Let's it's too easy. It's too easy.
Let's do it. What's going on? What's going on, brother?
Everywhere. Okay. What's up?
What's going on, sisters? How y'all doing?
Doing fine. How about yourself?
Hey, let me get my settings right on here. Yeah, it's a powerful show. I appreciate the truth and the whole conversation.
Thank you.
Let me get
Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in.
Oh yeah, you know I'm supporting everything you're doing from top to bottom.
Appreciate
you. Even when you had a crazy guest on, you know I'm gonna keep it real.
Which one? Which one was it?
Right.
I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I ain't gonna never get you in trouble.
I
never get you in trouble. That's for me. But yeah, I appreciate the conversation, sis, and I'm appreciate you going back to Africa to our most ancient burial grounds. I think that's essential. And I'm a selfish dude. I ain't gonna lie. You know, the reason I study STEM is because it'll show you your roots without all the flim-flammery. If you listen to the outside forces, they're gonna have you going left, right, left, and they're gonna make you forget who you really are. And that's from both ends. So with STEM, we can draw that line, and we can understand who we are through science. Science is the tool used for us to understand that we are an African people, some of the oldest peoples on planet Earth. But you can't get that if you don't use STEM. Paleontology, you know what I'm saying? My fault. Anthropology, the study of culture. And that's important for us. So, you know, I promote this so that our people can see where we came from and how we came here. And we never turn our back on Africa. But it seems to be some arrogancy amongst people that are continental African that I don't understand. It's always like we got to give, but we never get nothing back. And that's the part I never really like, because I don't even have friends like that. I don't keep people around me that we can't have a relationship of give and take, right? So all of a sudden, continental Africans are super special, but we some kind of mutts. And I'm saying it to be real. That's not true. All Africans, right? They call us the naked apes. Africans diversified around planet Earth through mutation as we traversed around the planet. All human beings that walk upright are African, different variations of that. Our people are the oldest Africans. Okay, so nobody's more special than nobody else. We go through different experiences. Some experiences caused us to pale out. Some experiences caused our eyes to chink out. Some experiences caused us to be taller and shorter. Those who lived in the forest, a little more shorter. Okay, but the thing that makes us special, and you said it, right, is the culture. The culture is what separates us, and I celebrate African-American culture in all its glory. Right? Because you got to celebrate your differences. If we're not going to play the Adolf Hitler card, because that was like the scientific racism, and you think you're better than this, right? Then how do we separate ourselves? It's through our culture. It's not giving away your culture on no ends, but it's actually celebrating your culture. And man, African American culture is banging. I love it. And I love you going to Kenya. Now, if I go to Kenya, I got to go to Nairobi. I got to go to the museum, to look at the Australopithecus. Okay, like that's they royal treasure right there. And they teach the babies both. They give them their indigenous stories, but they give them their scientific story. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's why. Have you ever been to that museum, sis?
Oh yeah, my office is in Nairobi, so you know, I've been going to Kenya for 12 years. So that's embedded into our itinerary. And we literally usually stay there. And my team is on here. They can correct me if I'm wrong, but we usually stay in there for about 4 hours because people have so many questions because there's so much information in the Nairobi National Museum. But yeah, we definitely go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tell them about the East African Rift. Tell them about the East African Rift that you take the people.
Oh yeah, so we definitely go to the Rift Valley. So the reason why we stopped to the Rift Valley, and I didn't get to tell you this, is that we do go to Mount Kenya, or where the equator meets the middle of the world, like the equator. And en route to that, we also go to Nankururu, and my Kenyans are going to correct me on how I said it, but we go to Thompson Falls. And on the way back around, we hit the Rift Valley area. And it is a sight to see. It gives you goosebumps because you're like, oh, this is where people started. This is where the cradle of life began. And you can literally see how that just has cultivated over time. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I always say study evolution is the study of Black people.
It is. I want to add this caveat. The reason why I say culturally, the culture is the beauty of it all, or traversed culture is the beauty of it all. I was in Estonia. This is far north Europe, close to Russia, maybe 100 miles from Russia, St. Petersburg, Russia. And I was talking to an Estonian lady, and I always use this as an example in terms of culture or experiences. And I was speaking to her and asking her, why was Estonia 75% atheist? And at that moment, I was going through my evolution of spirituality. And at that time, I identified as a Black atheist, right? And so I was like, aha, I get to prove my point. It works, you know. And
then you said they all were atheists in Estonia.
75 to 80% atheists. And what I did not know is that the Estonian people had been oppressed for 400 years by the Soviet Union. And so I'm sitting across from a woman who shared the same experience that our ancestors shared with each other, who happened to be Estonian. And then I asked her, then why did the country become mainly atheists? And she said, well, you know, and I hope I don't offend any believers here, but when we were praying to that God in that Bible, that God didn't answer, and we had to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Woo! And I'm talking to an Estonian woman. So again, there's beauty in culture, even if the person doesn't look like you. I had a conversation with a gypsy elder in Bulgaria. And I asked the elder, you know, there's a myth that you guys are from ancient Kemet or Egyptian, why they call you gypsies. Is that true? He said, yes. That's why we've always been a nomadic people, because we're global. I dropped the mic. I said, okay.
She said, okay.
You proved my point. You know, and so that is, again, to the point of STEM being important. I've also worked with people who I've traced their genealogy, like Bosnians, and they thought I was playing when I said, hey, y'all know y'all are cousins, right? Especially Southeast Europe, in that area. Y'all know y'all. He said, oh, no. I said, okay, I'm gonna do your genealogy. Did the genealogy, came back. Bosnians started from East Africa, the Rift Valley, traveled up to Saudi Arabia, stayed there for 10,000 years, traveled into Southeast Europe, and they were considered one of the first Africans going into Europe. I'm sorry. Everybody's
No, we
like,
just listening. I'm just listening because I'm thinking about human migration. Brother Ong talks about it all the time.
human.
When we migrated out and we went in different places and evolved and all of that. And go ahead, Brother
I'm
Ong.
just making sure you got it right. That's why
Yes, this is correct. This is correct. And you see that when you go on the ground. So you get, even if you do the genealogy, and that's another thing I do say, that travel is necessary, because even if we read it, even if we trace it this way, once you get on the ground, when you speak to somebody or you see it in person and they're able to show you their history and you see that similarity, you say, oh man, there has to be some commonality here. And so I just want to share that bit with you, that culture resonates globally.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I'm going to drop the link because we getting ready to head on out.
Riziki say, my sister know what she talk about, brother.
Wait a minute, hold on.
All the women, all the women about to get them. Let me see.
They can't get me. Don't get me. Sister, you said you was an atheist? Is that what you said?
No, I said at that moment I identified as a Black atheist.
What, you got scared? What happened?
No. I still identify as a holistic person. I just think the argument of the atheist is the same argument of a believer. So
what would that be? Just curious.
So I got in arguments with atheists who say that they can prove that there's no God. Well, that's the same argument of the Christian who says they can prove a God. So I think that is counterproductive to say almost the same thing from two extreme perspectives.
A real atheist wouldn't say that. A real atheist would at least understand that, that's something you couldn't prove or disprove right off the top.
Right, exactly.
So a person is studied. I mean, like, how can you study something outside of nature?
Thank you.
So God is supernatural, so it's outside of nature. So we're not even concerned with that, whatever. And and for me, the beauty of not believing, I have the ability to study all the cultural stories, because that's all God is. God is a cultural container of ideas and concepts. And the God identifies the actual geography and how those people traversed wherever they went to. So you can literally trace God's back to their geography, the areas where they started at. And God is the embodiment of the human experience, meaning human beings make up these ideas to explain their world, and they embody great ancestors under the auspices of a God or a deity. So different people will deify trees, birds, bees, waters, flowers, all kind of things like that. So I'm a non-believer because I respect human beings and their cultural nuances. That's all God is a cultural nuance. So science is something that we use to understand the natural world. Two separate things, two separate ideas, both created by human beings. So I'm not picking no story.
No, I agree. I agree. I second that. I agree. I identify now as a non-believer.
Yeah, so y'all both want to say,
we're on the same page.
Y'all on the same page.
As a non-believer that subscribes to certain holistic spiritual viewpoints, and I pull from everything. Again, that's that Traverse culture, and I believe that God is collective consciousness.
Come on.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, y'all say the same thing. Family, make sure that you go to her website, tverse.com. Connect with the sister. Sister, you're doing some marvelous work. Brother Unk, thank you for coming through. Sis, thank you for doing all that you're doing. We got to connect offline and see how we can integrate conscious ingenuity into the humanitarian component of what you're doing. I would love to deploy that program over in Kenya at that particular school. So we got to figure some things out. So I'll be in touch with you. I'm actually, when we get off, I'm going to send you my number through IG. Okay. So that you have it. Sister, you have any closing words for the listening audience?
I just want to say thank y'all for watching and interacting. You guys had some really good comments. Shout out to our family around the world, and check us out if you ready to come on over to Kenya and get some of this work.
Beautiful. Brother Ankh, you got any closing words for the listening audience?
Well, I appreciate the sister and her ability to express her travels. I think it's important for the African American to get out their neighborhood and see the world wherever they may want to travel. I think it's important. And I also think it's important for this particular Black woman to be a beacon for that change. So you're actually representing the change you want to see in the world. And I always respect that, sis.
Ashe. Family, take a moment out to thumb up the video. Some of you all slid your tails in here. You didn't thumb up the video. So thumb up the video, family. Also share the video if you're on Facebook, post the link. If you're on Twitter, tweet the link. And if you're on other social media platforms, put it up, family, okay? Let's share this information. Let's get it out to the people. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you are notified. Brother Ark, are you going live today at all today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go early. I'm gonna get it in early. Yep, I'm gonna get it in early.
You can bring me on whenever you're ready, Brother Onk, as well.
I gotta get your I gotta get your your email and stuff like that, and let you do your thing. Yeah, I don't know about the 10,000 years and people. I don't know all that.
Okay.
She going, I can't wait to hear that conversation. She like, I looked it up. Me to my, I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I mean? It is what it is.
No, you're right about the migrations though. But like the 500 years that we left Africa, that's an extreme amount of time. And with that type of time, there's a lot like there's no YouTube, there's no video back then. So people actually don't even know. After 500 years, you have no idea about where you came from. Your indigenous story is where you at. People start their indigenous story right there. I think we just have the luxury, but we forget that 500 years away from Africa is a very, 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 very long time. And we shouldn't be surprised if people that live on a continent don't see us like we think they should see us, because that's unreasonable, to be honest with you. It is totally unreasonable. But, afterwards, so, it is what it is. But yeah, you come through, sis. We had some fun. You get the full protection of Dr. Mayat. Absolutely.
Right. I dropped my email in the private chat.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
All right, bet, family. So make sure, family, that you tune in. I don't know when I'm going live again. I might go live. I don't know, Brother Onk. Remember I said I wanted to go live and talk about scholarship versus copyship. I think that's the name of it. Scholarship versus copyship. And I'm gonna bring on a couple of my colleagues to talk about what is scholarship versus copyship. And I see in this community, there's a lot of copyship that's being hustled. And so I more than likely will be live on Thursday. All right, family. And the earlier, the better for me. So this was ideal to hop on around 4:30, 5 o'clock, because I still have my day, right? So I look forward, an alert between, 4 and 6 on Thursday for a discussion on scholarship versus copyship. Thank you so much, family, for tuning in. Sister Kia, Brother Onk, thank you all for tuning in. Family, thank you for tuning in. Peace and Black power. And I meant to say, Sister Kia and Brother Onk, thank you for coming through here, not tuning in. I misspoke, but you got me. All right, y'all. Peace and love. I'll see you Thursday.
They try to treat us real dummy-like. Fake news got the whole country like. How we letting politicians lie to us while we letting corporations program us. How we eating food that can cause cancer. I'ma keep asking till I get some answers. I'm prepared for war, y'all can keep dancing. But if you feel the same, this should be your anthem. 40 acres in a mule, yeah, we need that. Preparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. Hustle hard, money stack. Uncle Sam want his tax, but I think he smoked crack because he never paid me back. But he built this off my back. I'm the reason he intact. 40 acres in the mule. Tell me what happened to that.
I understand that reparations are an absolute necessity. We're going to get buried alive. We do not have enough to be able to compete in this society.
Black, labor, white, wealth, integration never helped. Jim Crow kept us held. Black people set up the fail. $100,000 checks, yeah, we need that. Black business only grants, yeah, we need that. Therapy from all this trauma, yeah, we need that. Justice system reform, yeah, we need that. They said we revolutionary, yeah, I be that. Fred Hampton told me that, I repeat that. The whole world waking up to the secrets. We the lost children of Egypt. 40 acres in the mule, yeah, we need that. Reparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. Yo, like how they gon' say it ain't racism when the actions all point towards racism. They use science to reinforce racism. Johann Blumenbach taught the world racism. The presidents believe, governors agree. For them to build wealth, we had to work for free. How you see another man as your property? A sin like that can't be easily forgotten. We tended your crops while in bondage. Our stock was the key to your wealth. Y'all gon' pay us for that. Red line on map, y'all gon' pay us for that. Burn down our cities, y'all gon' pay us for that. Medical apartheid, school to prison pipeline. Arrest our fathers and sharecrop my grandma. The list goes on, these are war crimes. So yo, cut that check, it be about time. 40 acres in the mule, yeah, we need that. Reparations for the people, yeah, we need that. Financial education, yeah, we need that. Resources for the babies, yeah, we need that. They gotta pay us what they owe us. And I could give a fuck about the POTUS. You want my vote, then I gotta know your motive. And I'll be damned if you play with my emotions. And for all the people acting like we begging or we just looking for a handout, I want y'all to remember this. 400 years of the most terroristic, horrific, sadistic treatment of a people on planet Earth. Human trafficking, rape, mutilization, hangings, whippings, maimings, and most importantly, forced labor that led to the growth and expansion of this country and corporation we call the United States of America. Never has there been justice and repair for these crimes against humanity and generational traumas. The Jewish, the Japanese, LGBTQ, Ukrainians, Afghanis, Dakas, Asians, and many other groups of people have received money and resources from the federal government for crimes against them. We need our justice too. Who else deserves it more? Who else needs it more? We found money during the pandemic, and we always seem to bail out the big corporations. It's time for y'all to pay us what you owe us. Cut the check. Cut the check.